Hello and welcome to Sports 5 TV. We're here with former Olympic and European track cyclist champion, now turned jockey, Victoria Pendleton. Victoria, thanks very much for joining us. We're here to promote the Betfair National Jockeys Day scheme. Why is this scheme so important?
I think from my very limited experience of what it's like being in the racing world, you appreciate how much goes on behind the scenes and how many people are involved with getting those horses ready to ride. And then you have jockeys, and then a very lucky few get to race and ride. And it's an incredibly dangerous sport. I think it's the most dangerous sport out there. And it's a tough life. It's a really tough, relentless slog to really make it as a jockey. And we hear about some of the guys at the very top and very well-known household names, but there are a lot of people there that are struggling to make their way. And it's good to have a support network there for those guys when they're injured, having tough times, to help them through it. I mean, as an elite athlete coming from a sport, you've always got your elite team around you, so you have people to lean on and ask for help. And I think it's essential, in any sport where it's so demanding of your time and body.
You're an ambassador for the initiative. Why did you want to get involved personally?
I just think it's a great idea. I couldn't have done what I've done as a cyclist without having an incredible team of people behind me. Physiotherapists, massage therapists, psychologists, nutritionists, so many different people working to create my performance, and they were always there to help me along the way. I could never have done it by myself. And a lot of the guys out here who are aspiring jockeys, they're pretty much freelance. They may be working with lots of different yards, driving up and down the country, riding out, trying to get rides, trying to earn rides, but there's not really necessarily any assurance that they will. And it's difficult. It must be difficult to do it by yourself or with very limited support. So I think the Injured Jockeys Fund really kind of creates, environments that they can go to supply them with expertise around them, to give them better opportunities to sort of make it through the highs and the lows of what they do.
You won countless medals on the bike. How hard has the transition been to the saddle?
I can honestly say that when I've enjoyed watching the racing in the past, I've always watched the horses and perhaps never really appreciated how much of it is down to the jockey. And also thoroughly underestimated how physically demanding riding a racehorse is. There are times where I feel like I'm applying all of the strength I have to just sometimes just slow a horse down, to pull it up, to keep it at the right tempo. And you think, I don't know how much more I've got to give. You can't just put your foot down like when you're riding a bike and say, that's it, I'm done. You have to hold on. And then there's a point where you think you almost start praying to God. It's that hard. It's really, really physically tough. And if anyone ever has the chance to ride on an equisizer or a simulator to feel what it feels like, the final 2 or 3 furlongs of a race when the jockeys are riding a finish is incredibly physically demanding. Very, very high lactic acid, anaerobic, all full body, just pushing. And the balance you need at the same time is something quite remarkable. I have to say it's difficult to express how hard it is, but now I've got a very different appreciation for what a jockey does. 3
races so far this season. You managed the 2nd place in one of those as well. Do you think you're improving with every race?
I think, though, it's been a very steep learning curve. There's been some good, some bad, and some pretty ugly, but that's all good. All very important experiences. I had to expect I was going to fall at some stage and fall at speed, and the positive I can draw, it didn't hurt as much as I thought it would that time, so there I'm taking a positive from it. I'll try not to go there again too soon, but it's one of those things. I've been bounced around. I've had a finished second, and then I've tumbled off. I think I've got a full deck of experiences so far, and I know it's going to be tough. There's going to be a lot of hard races. When you watch the racing, you don't realise there's a few jockeys that have lots and lots of winners. There's a lot of jockeys there that are probably still dreaming to ride that one winner, and they'll spend their whole life chasing it, trying to get the ride. There's a lot of losses, and before there's a win, a lot more losses than there ever will be, achieving a win, if you know what I mean. It's a hard, steep road.
You mentioned that you took a tumble, unseated aboard Satanic Beat.
Yeah.
Did it hurt? It put you slightly off?
No, not really. I think when I got into this, I knew it was going to be dangerous. I mean, I would be naive not to to know and understand the risks involved. And it was going to happen. Everyone said, it's going to happen. You're going to fall off. And I've slipped off a few times in training with horses spinning at the gallops, or just learning to jump in a racing saddle was quite a challenge, falling out the side door, as you put it. Fortunately, mostly on soft surfaces so far, so maybe there was one positive to the ground being soft at Newbury.
The last time we spoke, you were aiming for the Cheltenham Festival next March. Is that still the goal?
I'm still working hard to get as far as I can. I start point-to-pointing at the end of this month, hopefully. And from there we'll see how it goes. Until I'm jump racing, until I've got enough rides under my belt, I think it'll be difficult to know. Yogi Bryson still feels like I'm on track, and it's difficult. I have to make sure that the horses are sound, that the ground suits the horses. There's so many variables, that I'm sound as well. So we just have to wait and see, but still pushing hard and hoping that I'll hopefully make it.
And one of the greats of the sport, AP McCoy, recently claimed that female jockeys should get a weight allowance because of a strength disadvantage, in his words. Do you agree?
I think there's arguments to both sides of that. He kind of, if I was a female jockey and they said, "Do you want £7?" I'd be like, "Yes, please," because it wouldn't look a gift horse in the mouth. But then there'll be on the other side, you want to beat everybody on the level playing field as a female, and then there'll be a lot of guys looking at some of the top jockeys like Katie Walsh and Nina Carberry and saying, well, they don't deserve it because they're already too good. Nobody wants to get beaten by a girl, that's the truth. So it's a difficult one. I definitely think there should be some consideration how to encourage more women to get involved with becoming a jockey, because there's a lot of women that work behind the scenes at yards, but not many of them take the next step to really race, because they don't see there's any opportunity for them, and that a man will always be chosen ahead of them. So maybe there's some consideration there in terms of opportunities for women, because there's no reason why not. And looking at the results of Michelle Payne at the Melbourne Cup, there's no reason why a woman can't ride at the very top level. So, yeah, something to think about.
And finally, what do you think was harder, Olympic gold or riding a horse?
Ooh. Okay, if I could ride horses for 10 years, then I probably might be able to tell you. At the moment, obviously, this is incredibly challenging because I've only just started. It's probably the most dangerous sport I could imagine ever doing, but it probably is the most exhilarating feeling I've ever experienced. If I had to back myself, I'd probably back myself on a bike more than a horse, mind you. So who knows? I can't answer that. I can't answer it.
Victoria, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much.